The first complaint wasn't about a person, it was about a sound. Residents in a small apartment building started calling management about a faint noise coming from one unit on the third floor. Not loud enough to identify, not constant enough to track. Just there, a soft dragging, then silence, then the same sound again. It usually happened late at night, sometime after 2 a.m. At first, management assumed it was normal building noise. Old pipes, shifting walls, someone moving furniture at odd hours. But the complaints kept coming. Eventually, the superintendent decided to check the unit. Apartment 3C. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again, louder. Still nothing. According to the lease, the tenant was a man named Calvin Reese. He had lived there for almost 2 years. Quiet, paid rent on time, no issues, but no one had seen him recently. Not in the hallway, not in the elevator, not taking out trash, just gone. The superintendent unlocked the door. The smell was the first thing that told him something wasn't right. Not overwhelming, not immediately recognizable, but wrong. Inside, the apartment looked undisturbed. Furniture in place, dishes clean, bed made, no signs of a struggle, no sign of a person. Except for one detail, the floor. There were faint scuff marks across the hardwood, leading from the bedroom to the far wall of the living room. Back and forth, like something had been dragged repeatedly along the same path. The superintendent called the police. Officers arrived and followed the marks. They ended at the wall. A solid wall, no door, no closet, nothing, just drywall. One officer pressed his hand against it. It felt slightly cooler than the rest of the room. They tapped it. Hollow. That was enough. They cut into the wall carefully. As soon as the first section came down, the smell changed. Stronger, warmer. Inside was a narrow space between the walls. At first, they thought it was just a construction gap. Then they saw it. Movement. Something shifted deeper inside. Officers widened the opening. And that's when they found him. Calvin Reese. Alive. Barely. He had been trapped inside the wall. Weak, dehydrated, disoriented. He couldn't stand, could barely speak. Paramedics rushed him out, but he didn't survive long enough to explain what had happened. Which left one question. How did he get in there? The answer came from the unit next door. Apartment 3B. Police knocked. No answer. They forced entry. Inside, the apartment looked similar. Clean, quiet, almost empty. But the far wall, shared with 3C, had been altered. A section of drywall had been cut cleanly and replaced with a panel that could be removed from the inside. Behind it was the same narrow space. The same hidden passage. Only this side had tools. Basic ones. Nothing unusual, but enough to cut, seal, and move through the wall without being noticed. Investigators realized the space between the apartments had been intentionally opened. Used. Someone had been moving through the walls. Unseen. The tenant of 3B was missing. No forwarding address, no recent activity. He had paid rent months in advance and then disappeared. Neighbors described him as quiet, polite, kept to himself. No one remembered hearing anything unusual from his unit. No arguments, no loud noises, just silence. The timeline didn't make sense. Calvin had been missing for days. The noises residents heard, the dragging, the movement, that had been him. Trying to move, trying to be heard. Inside the wall. After the investigation, both units were sealed and later renovated. The shed wall rebuilt completely. No access, no gaps. New tenants moved in. Life went back to normal. But some residents say that every once in a while, late at night, there's still a sound. Faint, hard to place. A soft scrape, then nothing, like something moving just out of reach.